Let's do this. See who shows up. Let's see. What's up, Jason? Hey, Jason, I was gonna call you after I finish today. Can you do me a favor, and I'll pay you back for it? Hey, Kurt, I think I already finished your knives. In fact, I know I finished your knives. Can we set Nico and I's room up so that we leave? I mean, I'll pay for the difference in a room and stuff, but I was just thinking I got to figure out how we got the rooms set up for USN. Nico and I were talking about it. I want to figure out how we're going to do it. Nico and I might actually fly out. We haven't decided yet. I don't know if I want to drive. I had fun with I think the idea of driving is fun, but after a weekend in Vegas driving, no, this is average. You guys just don't see it. There's a lot of times you guys just don't see it. No, absolutely not feeling any less annoyed. I had to give up 2 hours of my day. But I do have a glass of whiskey. So, I don't know, Nico and I are going to talk about it. I'll get with you. I want to make sure that we have our room set up the way we want it, even if I have to pay the difference in like an extra night or something. And then Nico and I might actually fly. We haven't decided yet. I'm thinking it might just be easier to fly. I don't know. So, working on a Spyderco Para 2. Man, this one was in bad shape. This is from my customer, Ben. It's Ben Marshall. If you're looking, I'm finishing. Your knife is going to be the last one I do today. So, back to the being annoyed. No, I'm no less annoyed. The fact that I had to deal with that and take time out of my day. And had to bother someone else. Para 2. Spyderco Para 2 and 20 CB. I mean, still, I got all, but I had 5 boxes show up. So between Saturday and yesterday afternoon, I had 5 boxes show up, and I was just, if I can, all of them but one are done. This has got to have a choil. I don't know, I'm gonna have to get a hold of him because if you look, there's just nothing. Yeah, and I'm gonna talk to Nico. I'm thinking I might want to just say fuck it and just fly. As much as I hate flying, I don't necessarily think I want to drive. It's never the drive to Vegas. It's never the drive to Vegas. It's always the drive back that sucks. The drive to Vegas isn't that bad. It was the drive back. Hey, you know there's 2 of us. We can, you know what? We'll drive. I don't like flying. I don't like flying at all. I don't like anything about it. Woo. But I did get, I mean, I got a lot of knives done, but Kurt, your knives are done. They're already done, and I'm probably going to try and get them packed up tomorrow. I might do a shipping run. Today's Tuesday. I might do a shipping run tomorrow. I don't know. I'm not going to the shop tomorrow. And so I've been trying to contact people. If you have a knife here for refinishing, it's not getting done this weekend. My daughter has an ice skating competition. On, see that? Tell you guys a little story about what's going on with my eye. My daughter has a competition on Saturday, so there's just no chance that I'm going to do anything this weekend as far as knives. And this is, I mean, they're going to Japan here in just a little bit less than a month. and we'll be gone for a whole month, and so I want to spend some time with him, you know. But I still was able to get a lot of work. Got a lot of work done today, even dealing with retarded stuff. And then I wanted to talk. I did that live stream with Aaron. I don't know if you guys saw that on. I don't know if you saw the live stream that I did with Aaron Frederick on Instagram. The reason being, Aaron and I have talked about it a bunch of times. He wants to change his social media presence, and he's like, how do you use YouTube? He's like, I don't know. He's like I want to crack the nut on how to do YouTube. The way, like, he's like, you got 3,000 subscribers. It's like, I'm not even a real big channel. He's like, yeah, but he's like, your channel's getting bigger. And he's like, you do stuff on Instagram. He's like, and I feel like he's like, I want to figure out like how you do what you do on and what the things that the advice you got from other people on what to do on Facebook or on YouTube. And I was like, well, Aaron, I don't know if you know this. A lot of people hate me. And he goes, nah. And then I sent him that thing earlier, and he goes, wow, what the fuck? I guess you was right. But we did that because a lot of people don't know who Aaron is. Aaron Frederick, they hear that, and they're like, oh, he's a new knife maker, Trash Panda Knives and Aaron Frederick Knives. That's a new thing. And I was like, no, it's not. Aaron's been making knives since he was like 15. Kit Carson was one of his mentors. His father-in-law was a really famous knife maker. Sorry. Jesus. So, no, that's not true. They don't. Knife channels don't really get hidden. It's all about click-through rates and things like that. And so, it's just the fact that it's a much smaller community. That's all right. I have the original email with the original email address. And here's what people forget. They think they're anonymous on the internet. They're not. Because I guarantee you can find that information as to who owns that email address. And then from owning that email address, where that email was sent, therefore their ID and their name. And I may or may not know people that could do that, and I may or may not do that. Probably not going to do that. But the fact is, I'm just going to let the police handle it. Oh, so back to my eye. See how I got black eye? I tell you guys about this? I think I sent the Fair and Forge guys a picture. One of the grinders has got a tool rest, and there's a pair of vice grips attached to it. And you push it down and you push it up to tighten it. And I was trying to get it tight. My hands were wet, and I slipped. I hit myself right dead in the end of the nose, hard enough I blacked my own fucking eye. I hit myself. My nose was bleeding. I was bleeding all over Elliot's shop. I blacked my own eye. So that was smart. Never said I wasn't clumsy. My hands were soaked. My hands were just covered while I was grinding. I was using the grinder, and I was switching between contact wheels, and I went to reposition, and just my hand just slipped off of, just hit myself right in the nose. And I went and I told Elliot what happened. He goes, Michael, I poked myself right in the eye with my own finger. He's like, I saw it coming, and I didn't even get out of the fucking way. And I was like, well, see, now I don't feel so bad. No one's got a comment? I busted my own nose. It was bleeding good, too. I got a picture I sent we got a little group chat thing on Instagram. And I sent it to the boys. I fucking had a fucking piece of rolled up tissue paper in my nose. My eye was just like, because I couldn't even really open my eye. My eyes hurt. Like, you know, you've been popping in the nose and you're like, you just can't want to open your eyes. It was bad. Told Tim Reeve. I showed Tim Reeve what happened. He's like, what in the actual fuck, dude? He's like, I just can't picture that. I was like, man, all I want to do is sharpen knives and have a good community for my YouTube channel. I'm from Southeast Ohio, not St. Clairsville, Cambridge. I'm from outside of Cambridge, Coshocton, Ohio. I hate Steubenville. Steubenville ain't real far. But yeah, what I was saying is, it's everybody just seems to think that they're this anonymous thing on the internet, and they think that no one could call them when they make threats. I guarantee that whoever sent that email did not think they were going to get a response back, because I called the cops. The cops were like, all right, this is what you do. I was like, okay. That was the response. If it continues, it's a terrible city. I hate it. We call it Stupidville. It's there's some cities you got Steubenville, we call it Stupidville, and then you got Ashtabula, we call it Trashtabula, because it's just garbage. And then you got Cincinnati's just so bad that they didn't even put Cincinnati Airport in Cincinnati, because they were like, look, Cincinnati's just too fucking bad. We'll let you keep the name, but it's too bad to have an airport there. It's too bad of a town. And then you got places like Toledo, like the only good reason to drive into Toledo is to drive out the other side because you're going somewhere. Like, you drive into Toledo if you drive 8,000 grit edge on 20 CV Spyderco. She's almost there. I think the edge just needs a little touch of something on that side. That's better. What'd you say? Mine just buffered to East Coast. What the fuck? Never does that. Should be good. That knife is done. Now, there was nothing. So I don't cut in choils on these unless absolutely requested. So back to what I was saying. So everybody seems to think they're anonymous when they do stuff like that on the internet. And I happen to know for a fact. Nothing's up, Mr. Tran. I happen to know for a fact that anything you do on the internet leaves a trail. It's always there. Never goes away. Once it's on the internet, it's always there. The internet's like herpes. Once you have herpes, you always have it. No, I didn't. I had no intention of getting it. I thought it would be kind of cool, but then the thing is, like, I know how sharp it is. If I touched my beard and it pops the hair, it's hair popping sharp, which is the only metric I really need, because I don't care about the rest of it, because that would I would have it and I would distract myself and I wouldn't get a lot of work done. I mean, it's 7:30 now, and like I said, you guys don't see this. A lot of times you see, like I say, I'm going to do something, or you see posts and stuff. I work until Nico's seen it. Nico knows. I'll work until I'm done. I have 3 or 4 more knives in there that need done. I'm going to do them first thing tomorrow morning. I'm not going to start digging into stuff at 7:30 at night. It is 7:30, right? Yeah, 7:30 at night. So, you know, it's just... Ooh, I farted and it does not smell good at all. It got chilly. So, let's lower this down. Here we go. Let's go for a ride down, down, down. There you go. It's too high for what I wanted to do. I wanted to sit down. So, tomorrow morning, first thing I gotta do is I gotta clean. I mean, I'm gonna have to dress all my stones because they're all real loaded and full of garbage. So I mean, that's like a morning thing. Even with these, you sharpen, like, what I sharpen? I sharpen 11 knives. You don't clean them. You just dress them. And so you just put some down, some abrasive down, and then you just rub them on the glass plate with the abrasive, and it just opens up the surface of the stone. And you've got to do that or they just won't cut well. Some of these I could probably do with a hard brush. I mean, like you can see, I'm cleaning up the stuff that's in it. These coarser ones you can clean out with a stiff bristle brush, but the finer ones, that material's down inside the matrix of the stone now. So I got to basically take that layer off. But I mean, the plus side of it is I'm not taking off very much. I don't use the regular Extra Pro stones, and I don't stop at it just depends on what stone I'm sharp. This is a 10,000 grit. I got an 8,000 grit there. There's a 4,000 grit in here somewhere on the diamond matrix. It just depends on what the customer wants. I don't have a spot where I stop. I stop where the customer wants me to stop. And so that's why I have 3 tiers of sharpening. I can go to 12,000 grit and then strop. The Ziba. So I've got to figure out a way to do the hardware. The thing is done. The scale is done. I'm gonna send you some pictures if you like it. I'm gonna have to come up and figure out a way. Fuck, sorry, I need my drill. And I'm not gonna be able to work on it this weekend because the kid's ice skating competition. But none of the hardware doesn't fit any fixture. Yeah, that's what I use a lot of times, especially on harder stuff. I use diamond matrix stones. So, David, I'm going to have to work on it because I've got 2 other knives as well that customers are waiting on. And I told him, I was like, I'm not going to be here this weekend. Daughter's got an ice skating competition in LA this weekend. So the stuff on yours is just trying to figure out how it's not the anodizing that poses such an issue because we have a little basket. God damn it. Stay. We have a little basket that we can use for that and for the etch. It's not that. It's it's the getting it polished. Whew, I'm sorry. It's the getting polished so that I can get it in a basket because I can't find a fixture that those screws fit in. So I've got everything put together. It's back together, not together. It's all in one place. I got all the hardware in a bag, the screws and everything, and then I'm just trying to figure out like how the fuck am I gonna get the hardware. And what I'm thinking, I don't know why I didn't think of it before until Elliot said something. He's like, well, if you're careful, he's like, I know a way. He's like, but we just chuck it in a drill and you just spin it while you're polishing and you'll be able to hold it, and then all you do is clean it up real good. And then he said, but we just got to wrap it with something like some piece of electrical tape or something so we don't hurt any, like if we crank it down too tight, you may crush threads or mar threads. So I just ran out of time to even get any further. The tumble, by the time I got done with the tumble and stuff, it was pretty late in the afternoon by the time I got ready to start pulling stuff out of tumble. So came out good. I did toss the scales into anodize. I thought I sent you pictures of it. It looks a lot like what it looked like when I sent you the other picture, but it's just more polished. So somebody asked a question. Let's see. How long did it take you to constantly sharpen without messing up the grind? I don't know. Ethan, here's the thing. I started sharpening knives when I was younger than my daughter. We would butcher on the farm and stuff like that. I learned how to sharpen knives. I grew up on a farm. I grew up learning how to do things that are now considered like, oh wow, where'd you learn how to do that? I don't fucking remember. I was like maybe 8 when I started learning how to sharpen knives. I'm 45 now, so 36 years ago. It is pretty tasty. Yeah, probably about that long. About 36 years now I've been doing freehand sharpening. I used a fixtured system. First fixtured system I ever bought was a Lansky. It's just some blended scotch from Sam's Club. A friend of Nico's got it. like 17 bucks a bottle for, it's actually fairly decent, but it's just a blended scotch. So it, what was I saying? I don't remember what I was talking about. Any tips or tricks for new sharpeners? Buy a bunch of stones that aren't that expensive. Practice on a bunch of cheap knives you bought at a swap meet or something, and eventually you'll get to where you wouldn't. Hey, you know what? Let me talk about something. You know, I bitch about fixtured systems. I've had fixtured systems. I've used fixtured systems. I bought a Lansky. My first fixtured system I bought was a Lansky. I knew how to freehand sharpen, and I bought a Lansky, and I thought it was kind of cool, and it was kind of precise, and I used it a little bit, but then I realized that it had some limitations, and I didn't like it when it made tips and stuff look. Barry, since I was about 8, like 36 years. And so I've been sharpening knives longer than a lot of you guys have been alive. And so I had the Lansky, and then I realized that it had some limitations, especially like your tip would be rounded, and you know, I just didn't like how straight the edges were. The same things seemed to bind on it. And so I got rid of the Lansky, and then I just kept sharpening freehand. And then I saw a video about the Edge Pro and some guys like Jay Davis and a couple other guys, Apostle P, they were getting really good results. And I was like, well, you know what, I'll just pony up the dough. And then I got the Edge Pro, and what wound up happening was, the only good thing that happened was I went from having stones that were this big, this is my strop, but my stones are this relatively the size, about 2 by 6, 2 by 8, to I realized that there were really decent stones out there that lent themselves, because I did still sharpen this way, but those stones get heavy, you start getting tired, your hand wears out, you can't sharpen as long, and it's harder to get the motion you want. And then the big thing of it is, let me see if I can find, let me pull out one of the stones, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Here's a 10,000 grit. You see how I'm only hitting, I'm like missing the middle, because I'm only using part of the stone. I'm wasting money. I've bought these, and I've bought them, and they're good stones, but the fact is, I'm not using all the stone. Well, I still have to flatten the whole thing, and so this allows me to cover the same amount of area, same motion. I have the same travel, because these are 2 by 6 or 1 by 6, same amount of travel of the blade making contact with stone, and I'm not wearing stuff out, and it doesn't weigh 2 pounds, because this is about the size of my actual stones compared to this. This is heavy. This ain't. I can do this all day. And so I realized real quick I didn't like Edge Pro. I got bad problems with the things on the spine where it would touch, and it just wound up being like not anything I wanted to use. So I have the fixture in there. I'm probably gonna sell it if there's anybody interested in the actual just fixture. I'm not giving you the stones because fuck, I use the stones. I'm thinking about selling the fixture for like 60, 70 bucks, and then you just have to buy your own set of stones. I just keep forgetting to do it. I think I still got the bag and everything for it. So, and what I was saying was, like, everybody seems to think I bag on fixtured systems. That normally isn't my problem. Like, oh, you just hate the Edge Pro, you're just gonna bag on this and that, and like, you can get good. Yes, I'll tell you what, my friend Luke Albert, I've seen Luke Albert's edges that he does on his fixtured systems. I can't remember which one. I think he has a KME and an Edge Pro. He does a really good job, and there's other guys out there that do sharpening and do a really good job with the Apex. Edge Pro Apex and the fixtured systems. But my problem is there's a lot of guys that don't, and they buy a fixtured system and they immediately think, I got a fixtured system, now I'm a professional knife sharpener. Well, I got news for you. Just because you got a fixtured system does not mean you're a professional knife sharpener. You grab that Edge Pro, and the stones are different thicknesses and stuff, and if you don't know how to account for that properly, it's gonna take you a lot longer. It takes me, it adds so much time. I can't use it. It adds so much time. But the flip side is you get guys that like, oh, I've got an Edge Pro. I can do anything I want with this knife. And then they realize real quick that they fucked it up. Like that knife is wrecked and ruined. And they're like, fuck, what am I going to do? Well, then they sell it on eBay or Reddit, and they sell it as lightly used, and then the owner gets it, and the edge is just completely fucking wrecked. I had a guy pay $800 for a knife, and when it came, he was like, I didn't think it was going to be this bad. He said he had sharpened it, and he said there was some minor issues with the bevels. He's like, I didn't think it was going to be this bad. Can you fix it? And I tried. I did a video about it, as a matter of fact, and I tried so hard to fix it, and I told the guy, I was like, I can't do anything with this. It was beyond the point of me being, I would have had to take off so much material to repair it that he wouldn't have had much knife left. And he was like, that's what I was afraid of. He's like, and I can't get my money back on this. He's like, and this guy sold it to me saying it just had some minor issues with some of the bevels. And he's like, it wouldn't even, like, it was so thin that I could push on the edge and deform the edge with my thumbnail in 20 CV. And you shouldn't be able to do that. And so this guy's, you know, this guy's out 800 bucks because he bought an $800 custom knife from the one owner that had ever had it that screwed it up and just didn't care enough to go ahead and say, hey, kind of fucked up, eat that. And that's where my problem with fixtured systems come from. It's not that the systems are bad. The systems aren't bad. Some of them are chintzy, but the problem is that they use the systems and they don't give a shit because they're like, ah, fuck it, I'll just sell it. And then somebody winds up fucking suffering because they didn't take the time to learn how to use it than they ever did on any fixtured system I ever used. So fixture systems have their place. They're good for certain things, but they're just not like, if you're using a fixture system as a sharpener and you're offering it as a service, I don't necessarily, I don't want to sound pretentious, but I don't consider you a professional sharpener if you're using a system. If you're a professional sharpener, you should be doing, it's a thing that you do. It's a process. You use the proper stones, you use the proper materials, you do it right, you do it by hand, and you get a good end-use product. I don't consider it I mean, they can call themselves whatever they want, call themselves sharpeners. I just don't consider them professional sharpeners. If you have to rely on a device, then you have not honed your craft and you're not a professional. I don't sharpen knives with a jig or grind knives with a jig. I wanted to learn how to make knives. I wanted to learn how to make knives the right way, like truly make it the right way. So I learned how to freehand grind knives. I'm not saying that like professionals shouldn't use a jig, but you shouldn't start using a jig. It's like learning how to weld. It's like learning how to weld. I've said this, and Boulder AVE said it too, and I 100% agree. If you learn how to weld, learn how to stick weld first. Because then you have to know your settings. You got to know what kind of fucking electrode you're using. You got to know what kind of fucking, you got to know everything about what you're doing for stick welding. If you learn how to MIG weld first, hell, a lot of those don't even have fucking knobs. They're just presets. I'm welding aluminum. I'm welding this. I'm welding this. I'm welding this. It's a push button. You're not actually learning anything. So learning how to weld, learn how to stick weld first. That's what I equate it to. You know? Yeah. I just think fixtured systems are a little lazy because it just means that you didn't take the time to learn how to do it properly. Because there's aspects of sharpening that you can't get. There's aspects of sharpening you can't get on a fixtured system. And you're limited with size. You're limited with size on a fixtured system. You start trying to get out past and do it properly and have it come out real good. I know they said that you can move the blade and then, yeah, but here's the thing, really, yeah, I mean, so there's a proper way to do it, and then there's things that you just can't do on a fixture system. You can't do a convex like I do on a fixture system. You can't. Let me see, is this clean enough that you guys can see the heavy convex I put on this? Yeah, you can see, look at how heavily convex the edge is on this tie light. It is, because it's a thick knife, it's really, really, really convexed because it goes back real far. And you can't do that on a fixtured system. And like I said, the other thing too is sometimes the stones are different thicknesses. And so that's going to throw off the way that it interfaces with the edge. So, guys, I just was finishing up for today. I was going to see what everybody was doing. I tested on beard hair. It's pretty close to analog pubes. I don't have any, so I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, y'all. So, let me see, anything else going on? What's everybody else doing? I'm done for the day. That was my last knife for today. It's 7, almost 8 o'clock. So I'm gonna go in, see what kind of trouble I can get myself in with the wife. My hand's real dirty. I'm just gonna go ahead and touch stuff. Leave grubby, dirty fingerprints all over everything, cleaning her counter. I just go in because the couch is just wiped down the counter. Just go in with my grubby, dirty hands. She'd be touching stuff. Just leave dirty handprints. See if I can get in trouble. I bet I'll get in trouble. Bet I can do it. Yeah, I bet. I bet you could pretty much say that. Like that's just say that any day of the week. For the whole spring. And then go say hot, rainy, and humid, and that's the majority of the summer. And Coshocton is not my hometown. I am outside of said bustling metropolis of, I think, 5,000, 8,000 people. Yeah, recurve system. Yeah. Recurve and systems like Lansky don't work, and the recurve stone, they make it crap. Yeah, the recurve stone this is what I use for recurves. It's my normal sharpening stones. This is my recurves. I'm already using small stones. I use even smaller ones, and I do it the same way. I sharpen them just like I sharpen everything else. And they come out sharp. But problem with recurves, I can only take them to about 2,000 grit. Depending, if it's a really heavy recurve, only 2,000. If it's a light recurve, then should be fine. David, did you get your other knives? Did they show up? They should have been there or be on their way there. Got them? Those, I'm not gonna lie to you, those Gavcos are stupid sharp. Be careful. Yeah, the Gavcos are, it's because they're so thin. They're just so sharp. And like I said, I'm sorry about that one where I got the scratch on a blade. I apologize. It was just light. I mean, it wasn't a gouge. It's just a little surface scratch, but yeah, this servo's going to. But you twice? Bit. Oh, yeah. So, well, guys, I'm going to end this. I just want to kind of give it end of the day kind of thing. It's just fun. It's been an interesting day. Horrible. Supposed to take a look, see how this thing looks. It's still pussing up and horrible. It doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look great, though. Yeah. May need a doctor's appointment. It's pretty hot still and swollen. Fuck. I hate when shit gets infected. What was that? Well, here's the thing. I don't give a fuck about any of my knives, really. It could get scratched. There's a couple that I hold, like, they have some special value to me that I kind of want to keep them pristine, but I know how to fix them. But sometimes people get wound up about scratches on their user knives. And the thing was, like, I put a little scuff, not a gouge, just a little scratch on that Gavco of his. It's a recurve Tonto, and it's fucking horrible to work on. And stone slip, because it's such a heavy recurve. And it just scratched the finish just a little bit. I really felt bad. And then Dave was like, no, I use that thing. Don't worry about it. I was like, yeah, you can say that, but still. Fuck, that hurts. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have reached that time in the evening where I want to go inside and do something else besides sit out here. Because I'm wearing shorts. I don't know if you know that. It's only 64 4 degrees out here, and I'm wearing shorts and a sweatshirt because the sun went down. So I'm going to go inside and spend time with my child, and I will talk to you guys later. Probably put a dressing on this, clean it up real good. Yep, you guys take it easy. Now I got mosquito coil burning underneath the bench. They work real well. So, all right, guys, take it easy.